In the 4th century, a man named Silvianus lost a ring, and he thought he knew exactly who had stolen it. So he carved a curse, naming the thief, and buried it here in the temple on a prehistoric hill, demanding a god punish the thief until the ring was returned.
1500 years later, and that curse was dug up. The archaeologist in charge sent for a young Oxford professor to help him translate it. That professor was J.R.R. Tolkien, and long before he wrote about a ring that corrupts its bearer, he'd studied a real one.
The curse Silvianus left behind is blunt. He names the man he believes stole the ring Synicianus and offers half the ring's value to the god Nodens. In return, he asks the god to take away Synicianus' health until the ring is returned.
It's a real accusation written by a real person, and they're calling on a god to punish a thief.
But here's the twist. Silvianus' stolen ring wasn't found here. It turned up miles away at a Roman villa in Silchester. A gold ring inscribed with one name, Synicianus, the same man accused in the curse. So the suspect possibly kept the ring or passed it on, but the link between the ring and the curse is real. Romans didn't separate law, religion and magic. If the law couldn't help you, you appealed to the gods, and Lydney Park was the place you came when something valuable went missing.
Long before the Romans built their temple here, an Iron Age hill fort stood on the site. And it was already tied to a much older god that the Romans knew as Nodens.
You can still trace the layout. The main temple, a guest house for pilgrims, baths, a courtyard, and a processional route up the hill. People came here to bathe in the sacred water and leave offerings, but they also brought their problems before the gods, and they buried curses. And all of it centred on a god whose identity is still a bit of a mystery.
Nodens is one of the most enigmatic deities in Britain. The Welsh knew him as Nuth and the Irish Nuada, king of the Tuatha De Danann.
He was a god of healing and hunting, but here he was trusted to punish the guilty, and that's why Silvianus came here, not to pray, but to demand justice.
And the link between a cursed ring, a named thief, and a god who punishes caught the attention of archaeologist Sir Mortimer Wheeler.
Wheeler excavated Lydney Park in the 1920s, but when he needed help translating the name of the god, Nodens, he turned to a young Oxford professor of Anglo-Saxon. That professor was J.R.R. Tolkien, and years before he wrote The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, Tolkien the academic was handed a real mystery involving a cursed ring.
Tolkien studied the curse tablets, he studied the name Nodens. He read the words of Silvianus, a Roman Briton, accusing a man named Synicianus of stealing his ring and placing a curse on him.
Now, Tolkien never claimed that this story influenced his own, but he never denied it either. And years before he wrote about a ring that brings misfortune to the one who takes it, he'd already handled a real one.
Tolkien was fascinated by cursed treasure, doomed thieves, and objects that carry a price. These ideas rung through the Norse sagas he taught, the Anglo-Saxon poems he loved, and the story buried here.
The ring was found miles away in Silchester, but the curse was buried here. The god Nodens has long been forgotten, and the thief Synicianus simply disappears from history.
Whether Tolkien drew on this or not, we'll never know, but the idea at the heart of his legend, a ring that punishes its owner, was being told here on this hill more than 1,000 years before Middle-earth existed.